Welcome everyone to Soar and Pair, Why Not Together, episode 22.
22.
And remember, Soar and Pair is soaring together to explore new adventures while inspiring others to create their own. Man, I'm having a hard time just spitting it out today. Soar and Pair, that's right.
Soar and Pair, yes.
You're Sandy Soren and I'm Jim Soren, but
Yes.
together we are the pair.
Yes. One bird, two birds, one wing.
Yes, as long as we don't kill the two birds with one stone.
You're right.
That would not be pretty to do in a podcast or YouTube channel.
Yes.
Us laying there in a heap of feathers and blood. Aren't we just giving
That's
a
quite descriptive.
Yeah. So again, we're exploring
Piss
new
off every animal activist out there.
we're exploring new adventures and not trying to get hurt. That should
There
be
you
our
go.
tagline. But today, our topic will be dealing with conflict as recovering people pleasers.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew, as you
Who
say.
knew?
So.
What do you know?
But of course, we want to make everybody happy. So
You're right.
no matter what we say, everyone has to totally agree.
Oh my God, we're in trouble already.
Oh, I have not recovered, am I? Okay,
Mm-mm.
that is the problem.
Does it mean you need therapy?
That's already been tried. So, I guess our podcast YouTube channel is my therapy.
Mm.
Just,
This is where you say, "Mom had me tested."
yes, and I don't ever show the results to anybody. So, before we get going on our subject, as like we always do, because we're taking you with us on our journey, just a weekly update for us. First of all, it is just so hot, not only in Arizona, but throughout the Southwest. I read or heard the other day that the month of July was the hottest in the Northern Hemisphere
Oh wow!
ever, maybe except one other time.
Wow!
So it's not just here in Arizona where we're
Wow.
constantly
I
like
didn't know that.
one, I just thought of it. So it's a heat wave and we haven't had but one little sprinkle of rain since April. I mean,
Yeah.
since 4 months.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
Maybe it's our fault because that's kind of
I
when we started
remember
the YouTube
it
channel.
being hotter than this, though.
Well, I think there's pockets of days hot, but I just think it's the string of always
It's the
above
consistency.
right the
Gotcha.
entire month, and it's continuing in August. We're halfway through August, so
Yeah.
I think just like we thought about, with the global warming and everything, not that we're going to get into that, but it is certainly one of the hottest and driest summers that I think we've ever noticed here in the Southwest.
Yeah, we
and-
keep waiting for monsoons to hit.
Yeah.
Still nothing.
People around the world who have real monsoons probably laugh at us, but that's when a nice summer storm comes in Arizona and thunders and
Yeah.
lightnings, and then the rain goes away really fast. We're not even getting temporary rain showers.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And it's
really
pretty
is.
bad when you drive down in Arizona and the cactus are all going, "Help me. I need water."
And our yard is full of them. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they're looking pretty bad.
so we've actually had to go out there and, because we don't have a drip system, and water our cactus.
How tall do you think that one is in our front yard?
Oh, we have a saguaro in our front yard that's probably close to 30 feet tall. It's
Mhm.
taller than our
And
two-story
it's
house.
right in front of, and it's right in front of the front window where the piano is. And I was watching it the other day, and it's doing this. And
Swaying
it
a little
just
bit.
scared me. It kind of, this optical illusion, it makes you nauseous, but I have this fear of it falling through the house.
Well, I guess if that happens, we'll update you with probably some pictures on
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Facebook. But yeah, I mean, it's so blasted hot. So we've been spending a lot of time in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working
Like a
out
bath.
our Coco dog, our puppy, who's only 14, right?
Yeah.
To keep her moving.
Yep.
And to keep us moving. So
Yeah.
we're grateful for that.
Help her lose some weight and get the joints moving. So.
As far as my weekly update goes, there's not a whole lot to update with music other than I did perform yesterday for a church digital services. So the Presbyterian Church in Casa Grande, who's really a great partner and friend of ours. They're the ones that sponsored or allowed me to do my last 2 piano solo concerts in Casa Grande in 2018 and 2019.
Really great
Raised
people.
money. Yeah. So they're great there, and so I was able to do 2 songs. It was really nice. It's kind of weird to do it to an empty congregation, but just like everything these days.
I was gonna say, now you know how the basketball teams feel, baseball, sports,
Yeah,
all
sports.
the sports.
Yes, it's true. I mean, I think we performers miss that connection with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So to get that connection through digital is challenging.
Mm-hmm. It's different.
It really,
Very
really
different.
is. But I'm planning. I haven't done a music update in a couple weeks, and I hate to admit this as a busy piano tuner, because my own grand piano needs tuning, and I just don't.
It's always the way.
I just don't feel like it. So my goal this week, and I guess I'll eat crow next week if I don't have it done, is to get that piano tuned so that I can do another original song and post it on the YouTube channel. So,
yeah.
But I gotta tune it first. So,
I'll remind you this week.
yes. Otherwise, I'll have to eat tuna fish, because if I don't tune a piano, then I'll have to tune
Oh really?
tuna fish.
Oh, that's so bad.
I
I
know.
can't believe he went there.
It's funny because my piano tuning number in Google is actually wrong. It's at least in one search engine, and so it always gives the wrong last number. And people tell me all the time, yeah. So I tried to fix it, and it still directs most of them direct you to the right number, but still people down in Pinal County, Casa Grande are telling me, I called this guy, I tried your number again and again, and he just keeps saying, I can't tune a piano, but I could tune a fish.
Oh my gosh,
and
he's loving you.
He's been saying that for years.
You should call him and give him your number so that he can.
I should.
Yeah.
And send him a tuna fish.
There you go.
In the mail.
Oh, I'm sure.
A rotten, hot tuna fish.
God.
Yeah, he'd love me.
Yeah.
So, on that stinky note, let's punt it over to you with your weekly update, Sandy.
So for me, I'm working with tech support to get my website up and running. I had to call in reinforcements because I just don't have time. So I'm getting some help getting my website built, and that will be up and running soon.
Good.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get that done, and it's something that I really should be able to do, but I just don't have time.
Right. I mean, you have your Facebook page.
Yeah.
But you want to link it to a website.
I think it would be better. Yeah. I'd like to have the full website page going, and my website, I do know my name is
You
going
do?
to be.
What is your name? Tell us all.
Who are you?
She knows her name, folks. I mean, that's just, what a great update.
We're done here.
Mic drop. Boom. No, go ahead. You were talking about the name of your website, right?
The name of my website. Instead of Sandy Sorensen, I'm going to do Sandy Soren. It's easier to find.
And it also
Everybody spells it wrong.
Yes. So it also ties to.
And it ties to Soren Pear, so I figured it was a really good connection in both places.
So will it be sandysoren.com or dot?
Yes, I'm gonna do sandysoren.com.
Okay. So when it is launched, we'll
let you know, but I think it should be soon. The lady who is helping me lives in Iowa, and they, unlike us, have been hit with storms really hard, and so giving her some time to get her power back on.
Yeah, like 6 days.
Yeah,
Some of
they've
those
gone.
folks,
Yeah, their
can't
area
imagine.
was hit the hardest, and they've gone 6 days so far without power. She said everybody around them's getting their power on, and they're kind of the last.
So we would be spending it in the pool. We'd be doing our episode in the pool
Mm-hmm.
because there's no way we would sit in this hot house with
Heck no. No.
without power.
Either that or we'd be at a hotel. Yeah.
No kidding.
Mm.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So, and are you still taking free readings? What's going on there?
Yes, I'm still doing the free readings. Yeah, so sure.
So don't take her enthusiasm as a sign that she's excited to do these readings with you.
I really am. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and the truth be told, because we're always brutally honest, because I talk about, oh my gosh, piano tuning, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, our jobs have been extremely busy and stressful, and I
They
think
really have.
that's a normal thing, but it just seems like everybody these days are like, oh my gosh, you know, by the time we're done, it's like we run to this finish line at the end of the day, and there's nothing left in the tank but to, you know,
We're just brain dead
eat,
at the end of the
and walk around in a daze, and then fall asleep on the couch sometimes instead of the bed. And
yeah, a little too often lately, but yeah. You know, we're both averaging 50 hours a week, so
yeah,
or so. So yeah, it's just been super busy, and so I'd like to start doing more of the readings and the energy work. So yeah, I'd like to just launch that and keep it going.
yeah, absolutely. And more people are liking your Facebook business page,
Mm-hmm.
which again is called what again? Just so they know.
It's Sandy Sorensen, intuitive counselor, master healer.
Right.
Yes.
And then we'll tie that into the sandysoren.com webpage. So
Right.
exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, lots of changes, lots of good stuff. It's just, it's moving a little slower than I would like, just because of my day job. But it's okay.
Well, but this is the whole reason why we launched this is we didn't expect overnight for you to start,
No.
you know, working full time, and so it's that transition from.
And yeah, the transitional phase is, I think, difficult for most people. It's just because you've got one foot in one world, one foot in the other, and it can be challenging. But like we were talking last week, even when I'm just dragging, tired, I do the intuitive readings and the energy work, and I'm just energized again.
Yeah.
And so.
I think that happens when you do something you love, it energizes you.
Yes.
It really does. I think
Yeah.
anybody could say that, but you know, even that kind of work, you know, both the person you're helping and you are lifted up.
Exactly.
So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So let's drag everybody down now. Let's talk about
Sure.
conflict. Let's just drag down this
like a rock.
thunk. But seriously, we were talking earlier with, you know, what we wanted to discuss, and you know, two people can't expect to agree on everything all the time.
True.
That's not realistic. And if that happens, then obviously.
Did you tell them what we're talking about today?
Yeah, conflict and people pleasing.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
So now this is a live demonstration of what happens when two people don't agree on what's going on. We're not going to edit it. No, yeah. So conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So and it's true. You know, even in the best of relationships, we're not going to agree on everything.
True. That's true.
We don't agree on everything.
No, we don't.
But we work through it, right?
I think so. Right.
And I think we want to share.
More like a question than
Yes.
a statement there.
Again, the people pleaser, right? We're good, right? Yeah, okay, good. No, but I think though, instead of avoiding conflict, it's about how to get through it in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and maybe drawing on some of our experiences as a couple, but whether it's, you know, as a partner, as in the workplace, it's how to get through when you don't agree. And you
Right.
know, lately a lot of people aren't agreeing with a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know,
That's true. That's true.
So-
Sometimes it feels like people are looking for things.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is. So, what causes conflict? Let's talk about that. So, you know, what are some of the things that cause conflict in our lives?
Well, not seeing eye to eye, not agreeing with your point of view, right?
Exactly. You know, any kind of misunderstandings, because I think what happens a lot of times is, you know, communicate well and you meant to say X, but your partner hears Y, and then you're going, why didn't you get X? And you're like, but you said Y. And then Z happens.
Yeah. Well, and if you're not listening, right?
What was that? Funny example. So I will, at the end of a day, just zone out. And sometimes we'll be sitting after dinner and a long day, and I'm just kind of on my phone or watching TV. And Sandy's talking, and
funny to who? I'm waiting for the funny part.
Well, it's kind of funny. Funny as in, it's just, again, truth be told. So finally I'll hear, that's fine, you never listen to me. And I'm like,
I'll just sit here and talk to myself. It's okay. I'll start carrying on a conversation with myself.
And I do hear that. I'm like, I'm so sorry. What is it you said? And you're like, no.
Never mind.
I'm already done.
I'm not going to repeat all that.
Promise, it was not on purpose. So, those kind of things happen between us. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. Maybe it's never funny.
Which makes it funny, right?
So, I don't know what to say after that. Just throwing myself on the sword. But, I think the important thing that we do, and we've talked about this before, is, when something keeps coming up, when a pattern establishes itself, we need to talk about it instead of just hitting the wall again and again and again.
Right. Because otherwise resentment builds, right? And it just starts to feel like a pattern.
Right.
And definitely, I think resentment can build and you don't feel heard.
Again, going on that specific example,
Well,
it's true. Well, let's talk about another example, like after sex.
Right? Oh, that's funny.
What do I mean by that, Sandy? You tell the folks at
So,
home.
this guy wants to fall asleep.
And I speak for about every guy in the world.
Right?
Yeah,
and
we
I
do.
get that. I totally get that.
Being a
I
nurse,
do.
you physiologically understand why.
Yes. However, as a woman,
Uh-huh.
I want to talk.
I think I've even seen you like get up on your knees and go and bounce on the bed, Jim. So yeah, let's
Talk to me.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, there are different reactions that that we kind of go to based on our gender.
Right.
I don't think I've snored while you're talking, or maybe I have. Yeah, okay, apparently I have. So, again, it's very important to forgive your partner when that happens because, we're wired differently. And I'm getting back to the subject at hand. I think, there's a healthy way to respond to conflict, and there's an unhealthy way to respond.
Yeah.
And as a people pleaser,
A recovering people pleaser.
I'm trying to, but just like an addict, you keep going back to it. It's very important for me to make people happy, including you, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think so.
What you're on board with that, aren't you?
I am.
That's
I have to admit, I'm okay with that.
What's wrong with that, Jim? But to the point where it becomes avoiding a conflict or avoiding something unpleasant is where I think that stems to.
That's where it's a problem. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't like verbal fighting. I don't with anybody. I want to avoid that at all costs. It's uncomfortable to me. It it does stem back to when I was young and was teased a lot. I don't like the feeling of feeling attacked.
Right.
So
I think it becomes a problem when you're not holding your own ground, when you're not standing up and communicating, right?
Correct. And in my younger years, I didn't hold my ground. I would constantly, I had tire tracks on my back and my front and everywhere else all the time. And I say that not to, oh, poor me, but just a recognition, because I think sometimes you just need to recognize what your default is, where you go.
Right, absolutely.
And my default is like, hey, let's all get along, kumbaya, let's hold hands. Yeah. When maybe the healthiest thing to do is to, talk about it straight on, but not in a very destructive way or a very confrontational way.
Yeah. Well, it can be done with respect and, seeing the other person's point of view, right? As long as both parties, whether it's in a relationship like ours or even a workplace relationship, trying to see the other person's point of view and just that common respect for each other. Right.
We were talking earlier about our unhealthy responses to conflict. So mine, because of the people pleaser that I am and avoidance, I will sometimes shut down, right? What do you do? As she smiles.
Way to throw me under the bus.
Yes, I had to. I mean, to me, we both need to be down in the mud here.
Right. Yeah, my knee-jerk reaction is I get pissed. Yeah, I get loud. Yeah, I get loud. And I think for me, very much like you, mine came from not being heard.
Right.
If you feel like you're not heard, what do? You get louder and louder and louder, and then it becomes a default, and that's not necessarily a healthy thing either. Neither one are healthy.
Right. But
it's about finding balance, right?
So I think, so what's helped us in our relationship 9 years and counting is understanding where each of us go to and seeing that as not as, oh, okay, there she goes again, she's blowing up, or there he goes again, he's avoiding, but how we can, because my thing is, I need to assert myself. And I think part of it with us is that because I trust you so much, like, okay, this is uncomfortable for me, but I'm going to bring it forward right now.
Yeah, and you've done that, I have to admit. You've done that more. You don't tuck tail and run like you used to. You stand up for yourself more, which is good. I don't always like it, I'll be honest, but it's good. I'm glad to see it.
Sometimes I feel like she's a lioness just toying with the little mouse that I am. That's good, little mouse. Keep standing up for yourself.
And on my side, I've kind of brought it down a notch or two. Seriously, I've brought my explosiveness down, and I think we're kind of meeting in the middle a little bit.
Well, and talking about the healthy ways to respond, I think something that you and I are working on always is trying to see the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
Right?
Always.
Because to me, that's, okay. Whether I agree or even understand why you're saying what you're saying, it's putting myself in your place. I think.
See through my eyes for a minute.
Right, and then I get really scared and come back to me.
You should be.
And I am. So I think that's really, really important. And when you're talking to somebody, giving them the space to say what they're going to say, right? Not interrupting one another.
Yep.
That's another huge thing.
Huge pet peeve for me. Yeah.
Or, because a good way of listening is repeating what the person said. Like, so I hear you saying this, but...
Then you're just discounting everything that person said. So yeah, basically you're saying, but you're still wrong, right?
So Sandy, I hear what you're saying. I understand your point of view, but I'm right. But
that doesn't make sense.
Yes. But my opinion is right and yours is wrong. But
yeah,
we joke about it, and I think not just between us, because we don't deal with a whole lot of conflict, but I think if somebody ever says in a relationship we never argue, we never disagree about anything,
There's a problem.
They're covering over stuff. They're hiding feelings.
Completely, yeah.
You can't go through, I think, a healthy relationship without, at least going through that and working through it. So I don't think the goal is to never have an argument, is to get through it in a healthy way.
So that you're growing, right? Because, I mean, growing pains are ugly.
Yeah.
They're difficult and they're ugly. It's about not avoiding them, but dissecting them together so that you can move forward.
Right. And I think it's like you said before, having skills in the toolbox. Because when you're in an argument and you get, there you go. She always does the in her waist there, if you can't
tool
say.
belt.
Yes, the tool belt. But instead of waiting for that moment of the argument where you have that emotional reaction, because a lot of times if that emotional reaction happens,
right.
So if you're not emotionally aware of what's going on with you, if you're not self-aware of that,
yeah,
then that emotion's just, you're going to see red. You're going to just, oh my gosh, I can't believe it happened again.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And that's when things are said that you regret, or things
right.
that, you're not thinking,
right.
You're just spewing emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that's true for all of us. There was something we read too about different kind of dealing with stress, because a lot of us are dealing with stress right now. But one thing that we're reading was comparing it to driving a car, right?
I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Basically, so you can be pressing the gas
right
to go, or then there's the people that are pressing the brake, that the tuck tail and run, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the people that are pressing on both. And when you do that, when you're pressing on both, eventually the gas is going to take over, right?
And the tires are going to screech, and you're going to burn out, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so, having your foot on the gas, going full throttle all the time with, what's happening isn't healthy. And then, so it's finding that balance,
mm-hmm.
And that stress relief, because then what happens is that when a conflict arises, if you've been gassing it up or breaking it, it's just going to come out in an ugly way.
Exactly. Yeah.
It really, really is.
Yeah, and I liked what you said about being self-aware, because if you're dealing with your own inner conflict and getting that out in a healthy way, then it won't come up at these inopportune moments and just kind of land on everybody around you.
That's why I go back to how we've dealt our relationship, is like when something is bothering us, instead of pushing it down to the side and like, I don't want to deal with it, at the right time we'll bring it up, not during a conflict, but when it's time to just, I need to get this out. This is really bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we avoid, that gas brake blow up kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think we do pretty well with that for the most part.
I mean, it still happens.
It still happens, of course. But finding the times to talk, and that's a good point that you brought up, is in the middle of the conflict might not be the best time.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that's bothering you from 3 months ago, now is probably not the time to bring it up.
And we've both been in relationships where the other partner brought up the past and threw it in
over
our faces.
And over again, yeah.
And that was the other thing. Winning at all costs. So, it's about winning the argument, being right.
Yeah. Being right versus being happy, right?
Yeah, I think the Course in Miracles says, do you want to be right? Or do you want to be happy and at peace? Because all of us interpret things a little different. We may see the same scene of something, but my interpretation is probably going to be different from yours.
Of course.
And the other person. So my truth is a certain way. And so a lot of times I think that the phrase is agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's just not the way I see it.
Yeah.
And be okay with it.
And that's okay. Exactly. It's not my goal to make you agree with everything that I see, or to make you a carbon copy of me, right? And I think people get stuck in that rut of having to be so right that they're trying to create carbon copies of themselves.
Little mini me's all
Right.
over the place.
Isn't that what it kind of looks like? Yeah.
I could see these people with all these minions that look like them. Like, hey, minions! All
That's
these little
thought.
you know, with politics, all these little minion Democrats and minion Republicans and minion Independents. I mean, but that's what happens in an election season. People, like, you've got to think like I do, otherwise you're a bad person.
I'm thinking I could use a few minions of myself. I'd put them to work.
See how the power goes to her head so quickly. But agreeing to disagree, one other thing is just willing to forgive, because sometimes you just screw up.
Yeah.
You know, you blow up, you get angry. I screw up by zoning out the TV and not listening at all, and you know, just that willingness to let it go, to forgive.
Yeah.
Right. So here in front of everybody,
I hear it.
are you willing to forgive and
hear
let
this.
go? No, you don't hold it against me. I'm
No.
joking. And one other thing we didn't talk about before we wrap this up is nonverbal communications.
Yes. Yeah. This can be kind of funny too.
Yes, it is, because the most famous line that females say when they're
I'm fine.
and if you could see the look on her face and how her eyes lit up and how her jaw clenched,
Yes.
the words just, yeah.
When a woman says I'm fine,
And then
she's not.
I will admit one more thing, although I keep throwing myself under the bus, and it drives you nuts when I do this, and I don't realize I'm doing it. She says something to me, and I roll my eyes and walk away.
Oh.
Help me, guys. I need help at the moment.
Not his smartest moment.
And a lot of times I'm like, did I do that? And I'll hear like clanging in the kitchen and banging, and I'm just sitting on my phone or watching TV going, everything's okay, right? Yeah, I didn't do anything. No,
I'm fine.
So I think
Yeah.
I think the nonverbal cues are key, because they really do mention what's going, or not mention, they do show what's going on underneath the surface, even if you're not verbally talking.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, it's very much, you know, imagine talking to your boss while you're sitting there on your phone.
Yeah, or having an interview for a job,
Uh-huh.
when you're just kind of slouched in the chair. So, you know, it's all those nonverbal cues. Gosh, relationships are complicated, aren't they?
They really are.
I'm exhausted talking about this. But
It can be funny, but yeah.
it can be, it's funny because it's true, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. You know, some of this stuff, it can be funny. It's funnier to the people on the outside, I think.
Yes. Kind of looking in.
Yeah.
Our secret weapon, Sandy, is humor.
Humor. Absolutely. And forgiveness. You know, forgiving each other because we both screw up. And just understanding.
And I think humor is important, that you laugh with the person, not
Not
at
at
them. So, you know,
Yeah.
got to be careful about poking the beast at the
Yeah.
wrong time.
I tend to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially after some beers. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, but that's different. Poke.
Yeah. No, but I think humor in the right way, in the right time, and sometimes we have to laugh at ourselves, because honestly, we're human beings that make mistakes. Relationships are messy, families are messy,
Of course.
and we've got to just laugh at ourselves sometimes.
We do. We have to laugh at ourselves and, you know, shake it off. Just shake it off and start over.
Just like Taylor Swift said, shake it off. That's about all I know of the song, by the way. But speaking of music, there's a really great quote to end this segment that
Okay.
I really liked. It goes like this: we don't get harmony when everyone sings the same note. Only notes that are different can harmonize. The same is true with people.
I like that.
So you can be the C and I'll be the E, and
Oh, yeah. That's going to go well.
No, but really the differences, where we come from, harmonizing is really what it's all about.
Absolutely.
So, but speaking of differences, let's do our segment on Sandyisms.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
Well, that could be one right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of harmony and Beethoven. So, I keep adding more to my repertoire to share with you. I thought I was going to run out a few weeks ago, and I'm realizing there's a lot there. So it's good. But this one is a good one. I don't think I've done before, and if I have, then you'll have to forgive me. That's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, I do use that one.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's usually when we're talking about something, and ooh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah.
Or like when my sharp toenails dragged across your foot earlier.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're dancing around each other in the kitchen, and I don't know how you did that, but his sharp toenail went right into the cuticle of my toenail.
So,
Time to trim.
Yeah, well, I did.
Oh, okay.
I felt bad about that, and I trimmed the toenails, so now that they'll be even sharper.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm thinking. Oh no, wear socks.
So that's gonna leave a mark. But anyway, we'd like to thank you for joining us in this episode, and hope you got something out of it. It was a lot of fun. And we want to remind everybody that Soar and Pair, Why Not Together, we have it available on the audio podcasts. And I name them every week. I'm not going to name them this week. Or should I name them?
Probably should.
Well, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher. I have heard too from our podcast that they are going to add Amazon to it.
Oh, cool.
So that will also be great. So
excellent.
Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Remember, you can see our voices.
And hear our faces.
See our voices and hear our faces. Yes, but on the YouTube channel, you can see our faces and hear our voices, and subscribe. And continue to give us feedback. We really appreciate that very much.
It was great to see you guys this week, and take care. Have a good week.
See you, everyone.